Hi everybody, just a quick video today to look at an organizational tool we have available to us in Civil 3D, specifically a tool that will help us when working with layers. Now I'm sure if you're like me, as you work on Civil 3D after a while, you start to accumulate a fair amount of layers so that you can organize your material and show exactly the type of content that is appropriate for what you're working on. So in doing that, we can have a number of layers on, off, frozen, and thawed. I don't want to say we lose track, but sometimes we're looking for some things, maybe looking to see if some data is already in our file. As an example, I've currently got a number of layers shown. I've got some trees, some contours, some information for my roads and utilities, but I might also be looking for some other data that could be off or on a frozen layer. Now we've got tools within Civil 3D that I can come up and quickly turn all layers on or thaw all layers. However, in doing so, I will disrupt the layer settings that I'm currently working with right now. We could always undo and fix that, but maybe I'd like to experiment with some different layer settings as well, make some things maybe a little easier to see or a different color temporarily, and be able to come back to this. Well, we can do that very quickly through what's called a layer state. So let's go ahead and save one of those. I'll do it by the command line here first. We'll start to type it in. We'll say layer. And looking at the autocomplete, we see LayerStateSave is the actual command. So we'll go ahead and select that. Now in doing so, you might get a dialog like this if you've used the Express Tool Layer Manager in the past. It happened to detect in this file that I had 5 instances of different layer states that were saved using the old Layer Manager, so it's going to convert those into saved layer states now into Civil 3D 2018. So you may not see this if you hadn't experienced or leveraged the old Layer Manager Express tool. Let's go ahead and click on OK. It does that. It's going to ask me to give this a name. I'm going to call this final plot. This is typically what the layer settings are when I plot this particular project. I could give it a description. We'll click on OK, and I've captured that. In doing so, I can now click the button here, maybe to turn all layers on, visualize, I see some new things have come on, some information about my corridors, maybe some center lines of the area down here at the bottom of the hill. I could thaw some layers, some other information shows up, maybe some trench backfill, things like that. But now if I wanted to restore that layer state, rather than going through and doing things like undo, I could click on the down arrow here and you see the save states, or in this case, the unsaved state is currently what I'm looking at. If we click on the down arrow, we can see all the layer save states we've got available. So if we look, we see final plot is what I'm currently working with. You see some of the layer manager states that were there before that might have been converted, as well as if we come down, we can see some other ones have been saved here as well. Now the cool thing about that is as I move my cursor over the top of it, I can actually view these layer states now without actually even making any changes to my drawing. So for example, if I just want to see surface and roads only, I've got one save that shows me that. I'll come down and look at surface only, that shows me those. We'll come up and maybe take a look at, we'll scroll up here to my, well, one of the save states we've already got here, or my final plot. It automatically restores it back to how it was before. So in some respects, and as well as being able to save these states, we can also try before you buy, so to speak, and that I can review these. And then if I'd like to go to something here, we can set it for, this was a layer state for the way that this drawing was plotted before, maybe to accentuate some different layers and things like that differently. That updates all my layers in the file. We'll come back, go back very quickly to the final plot we had set up before. And in just clicking on that, the entire drawing is set back to the way that it was before I started. So hopefully you can see by using layer states and save states in particular, they can help us out tremendously. You may have a question. The next place we would go after that is if I wanted to maybe update or delete some of these. There is an option at the bottom, maybe we'll talk about in a different video, to manage these layer states. That's where we would go in and edit or delete or update any of the states that we've created. For today, we'll just look at how we can capture those, because that alone can be a very powerful tool. So hope this is helpful, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. See ya.